We can have infinite islands. We could spawn them, almost like generate them. Okay, so this is where we're starting from. We got just like the coolest little fantasy world kind of being built up, and I'm really excited about it. The time before last class, we made floating islands a thing, and this idea of like a blueprint of an island that perhaps you can like ride and stuff. And maybe there'll be more of those. I don't know. The very last thing we did on this was we decided that yes, we want there to be spells in the game. So I think today should be focused on perhaps specifying out our spell system. What do you guys think? You can unmute if you want. Michael, what do you think? He's looking for his button. That's fine. You type in the chat. All right, Dolpho, I think I saw your hand raised. No? You were just giving me an air high five. Hmm? You don't have a mic. Okay. Then, Michael, you'll have to pantomime everything. Just do like a mime. Be like, I think we need to make a model of the Earth. Kind of stuff. That's how you do it. Oh, good. He's got a pen and paper. All right, or that. That works too. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Let's try something. Jasmine, what do you think we should start with today? Should we do the environment or should we do spells?
I think we should do the environment today.
Oh, environment. Okay. Okay. Interesting. We are kind of lacking on the environment. We definitely could do some more stuff. Perhaps we can like incorporate spell casting and the environment together. Like some things I've seen in really good games are like there'll be some ancient rune stone or an altar that you go up to. It's part of the environment, right? It's like an altar. But when you click on it as a player, it like heals you or gives you a spell that you can temporarily use. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Here's what we have so far. We added this like fireball that you can send out last time, if you remember. I think we press E. What was it? C? V? I have to look it up.
I think it was F.
I think it was F.
Oh, F? Okay, thanks. All right, 3, 2, 1, F. Oh, you were right.
Wasteland. This one thriving desert.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff with that. So let's take a look. Well, actually, no. So Jasmine said that we should probably do environment stuff. Some, I think, want to do spells. Jason, your mic is on. Hey, Jason.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That happens. All right. So let's do a poll. Actually, let's not do a poll. Just put it. Just say it. Should we do environment, or should we do spells, or should we try and do both today?
I'd say focus on environment.
Okay. Neil Lawrence says both. All right, so I think a lot of us are kind of saying environment. Leonardo's environment. Okay, the environment. The people have spoken. So let's look at what we can do with this environment that's different. When you guys say environment, I guess there's a couple aspects of the environment that we could narrow focus on. Number one, we have this citadel that is still very lackluster. It looks cool from far away, but there's nothing really going on. We could design the citadel and design it with like a player in mind. Like the player gets there, what are they going to do? Can they move around? We could do the citadel. We could do more floating islands that drift, or we could do more islands in the ocean. Now this one I am going to do a poll since there's like 3 choices there. I kind of want it to be a tower sort of deal. Should we have a moving island that gets to the citadel? I think it could be really cool. But it shouldn't be like the first moving island. You should have to get, like, maybe you take one moving island to one place, another one to another place, and finally one from there to the citadel, maybe? So we're going to do the citadel, tower. We're going to do more floating islands. We're going to do more sunken stationary islands. And that'll be it. All right, that poll is launched. Everybody vote. Thank you, Jasmine. Agree. Yeah, if you can't participate in polls, you could always just put it in the chat. That's really helpful. Again, it just shows me that you're listening, you're contributing, and then I know what we're designing. So, hey, Alexis, thanks for being on camera. See, everybody's now on camera, and it's awesome because I get to see you all. And I know that you're not anonymous trying to hack my information. Some of you might be, though. I forgot the options. Okay, the options are citadel or tower. We're doing environment. That's what we've decided. But what part of the environment? Are we going to design out our tower? Because we haven't designed that. It just looks cool from afar. Are we going to do more floating islands? Or are we going to do stationary islands that are kind of like this that you can get to around the world? So that's the question. So 2 people in the chat say tower. And actually, the votes in the polls so far, we have tower, overwhelming majority would say tower. Okay, we're going to do tower. Cool, that's the one I kind of secretly wanted to do. So, all right, first thing we're going to do, let's get a reference to the size of our player. So let's bring out like a zombie out here or something. Forget if they're called zombie or enemy. Yeah, enemy. So I can make sure I'm designing it all in the right size. Oh, wow, it's a lot bigger than I realized. Okay, cool. Because the worst thing you do is you design a really cool environment, and then when you go to play on it, you realize it's way too small or way too big. So cool. Also, what we'll probably do as well is, for testing purposes, we'll move our spawn point over by it so we can, like, practice it. So, so many things we could do. We have a lot of neat assets to work with. I'm going to pull up our static meshes. I'm going to put it in this window on the side here, on the left. And that way, if you see a mesh or a model, and let me present my screen too. So I'm streaming this on YouTube, but I'm going to present my screen right now. And Michael's writing something down. It's either an idea, it's notes, something like that. I really want to see Michael pantomime everything, though. I think that would be a better way of communicating. Just be like, I think we should put in a robot. Sorry, go ahead.
This sort of looks like a sea, It's giving me the kind of pirate vibe. So, I'm thinking we have flying ships.
Flying ships! I love that. What do you guys think? I agree. I have some ship assets with sails and stuff like that. Okay, cool. I'm really thinking, so what if our tower has different docking areas for flying ships and islands and stuff? That's how they get to. I was going to put like a dock on the lava. Could have lava ships. I don't know how much, how much something could be able to infiltrate a ship. Yeah, Jashawn likes that. The Flying Dutchman, right? I do like that influence. If we do a flying ship, maybe it should have a rocky element to it, because all of these things that tend to be orbiting are like these, orbiting islands, these meteoric kind of things. We'll put that in the notes. Okay, so we'll make notes of that. We're not going to do the flying ship right now since we're doing the environment, but I think it's a really good thing to put in the notes so that when we come back to it, we'll be able to design that same thing. I think it's a really good idea. For period 6, where's my note? Okay. Yeah, let's do a flying pirate-esque ships. So what that tells me as a designer here is we should have those like docking places that things can come to, perhaps. So I have meshes on the left here. Let me know if you see something that you're like, oh, use that. Hopefully you can see the name, especially because I'm presenting my screen now. It's easier to read. So let's see. We've got this. That is super wicked. I think that's exactly very appropriate for like, the top of a tower. So to, like the siege elements. We may need to make this whole tower bigger, even bigger than it is, if we want to, for example, like go inside of it at some point and not just be like on the external. But I think perhaps crowning the tower like this could be good. We should also have treasure chests. Yeah, we should. There's no kind of loot yet. Treasure chests that can be found. We might need potions at some point. Like, what are you going to get in a treasure chest? I don't know what items you can get. You know, can you get gold? But what does it matter if there's a trading system? You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So we'll do a rough kind of. Oh, let me delete that. So I'm rotating this around. I'm gonna set that as 45 degrees. Okay, Alt drag to rotate. Cool. That looks really, really cool, I think. I think it'll look good from far away. It might be too kingly, though. I don't know. You know, maybe it should be all rock. We'll drag that over there. We'll save that for now. I think there could be a lot done with that. We've got all these rock assets here. If you see one that you really like, you could do something with it. I think we need more of a foundation here. Yeah, maybe we'll build from the bottom up, okay? And actually, yeah, we'll build from the bottom up. I kind of imagine like a circular base or something, perhaps. Unless this is kind of on its own rock island, which is also appropriate. Let's make a duplicate of that rock set right there. Oh, no, that's a very detailed rock set. Instead of doing that, some beautiful static meshes here. Let's find out where these rocks come from and give the island more of a base. So like this is used for like paths, but I can easily see this kind of forming, you know, the entry point of like the surface dock of the whole kind of expands. Let's make it a lot bigger. Sink it in a little bit. Giant purple floating orb. Yeah, kind of like Lord of the Rings kind of thing. I'm fine with that. What do you guys think? Should we have a big floating purple like energy orb at the top? And again, we do need lore. So if there's any writers, anybody in class who thinks they want to write some of the story-esque themes and stuff, I mean, we need it. We definitely need it. And right now I'm just trying to give it a base. Those are all merged. Let's just see what general rocks I can get. Okay. This might be a better asset bunch. Flat rock could be good. Again, make that really big. And now we've got kind of a base that grounds this evil tower in space a little bit. Let's also do it on the other side, maybe. If not, I have a bunch of storyteller friends I work with. Well, I'd like it if it's just people in this class. Well, yeah, no, I'm open to anything. It's the best story wins. But is there anybody in this class who thinks that they could maybe come up with some lore for this game? I'm just gonna minimize how much that juts out a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a little better. I'm gonna sink it in just a little bit. That iceberg effect. Okay. All right, so we gave sort of a base to our evil tower of doom. Maybe a couple more things just jutting out from the water, leaning in, that kind of thing. These look a little out of place now, don't they? Probably gonna get rid of those then. Delete. Delete. Well, we'll just duplicate this existing one. Kind of sink it in there. And that's good because now we've got this like ground thing and it's kind of nested by this other type of rock. All right, let's do a little test of just the size of things. So let's find our character. And let's actually bring him over there so that we can actually test what it feels like to walk around before we do any more design. So bringing that way over there. Double click on that. Okay, so we're just going to start right here. And this will give us a good sense of scale and size and all that. Oh, and I don't know if these rocks have collision yet, actually. We might fall right through them. Hopefully they do. No, okay, good, they do. They do. All right, so you can see how far away we are from the rest of the world. And we see we've got this looming tower. And oh, those look so cool up close. Those orbiting islands. I mean, they just look so neat. Okay, awesome. So yeah, if you want, drop your Discord. Cool. So Alan and Alexis are going to work on lore. Does anybody else want to work on lore with them? You know, we can kind of have a writer's team. You know, lore is like world building. And we've got some questions to answer. Where are we? What is this world? What are we doing here? What is this tower? Who built it? Who are those lava creature enemies that we've been dealing with? Like, these are all questions that the lore needs to answer. So if you want to answer that question, put your email in. Everybody who wants to be on that, put your email in the chat right now, and I'll put a Google Hangouts together also for you, and then you can then jump off to Discord or whatever it is. But if you feel like you can answer, hey Malachi, thanks for being on screen. Appreciate it, man. So if you want, now he's gone. It's like I wasn't doing that. If you want to be on the writer team, put it in the chat, okay? And oh gosh, there's too many Malachis. Just change it again. All right. Okay, so I just fell in the lava, didn't I? Yep. Trying to get back up. So you definitely want to provide a way for your player to get back up. Okay. Let's see. Is it too big or too small? I think it's too small. What we're going to want is like a spiral staircase, though, up. So let's see if we can get a stair in here. Do we have any spiral ones? I don't think, but that's okay. We can come up with one. We can make one ourselves even. But I think the tower should probably be bigger. Let's bring this guy down here. And I'll just remember that. Okay, cool. So I'm putting an enemy in here so that I can at least look at another NPC and see how they look relative to the space. Oh, and they're not going to attack us right now because we haven't brought a nav mesh over there, which is fine. So it looks pretty big if we're boating, but I think it could be a lot scarier, a lot bigger. So let's get rid of him. I like this like cave outcrop thing. I'm going to leave that. What we could do... We can take this basic 2 tower meshes and just increase their scale. I'm thinking maybe we double them. So what we'll do is take this. Now right now the width is at 3.5. So if we... maybe instead of double it, well, let's try 6. Question is that going to be too big? Doesn't have to be that tall, but it just needs to be. What do you guys think? Is bigger better when it comes to this? I think we could probably sink it in more. Any thoughts on the size of our tower, our citadel? Okay. Hey Malachi, what's up? Yeah, I think we'll sink it down lower.
Hey, what's good, Mr. Torres?
Hey man, welcome to class. I feel like I don't think I've ever met you or seen you in class, but I'm really happy that you're hanging out with us.
Yeah,
How's
happy to
life?
be
How do you
here,
like
Mr.
school?
Torres.
What's that?
I said I'm happy to be here, sir.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Cool. So, I'm thinking like there could be at some point like this kind of spiral thing that goes up that we use as like steps almost. So if I alt drag this, bring that in, then there's a slightly higher version that you can go up. Alt drag this again. We don't have to do this for the whole way around it because we'll be able to copy and paste it, but I'm like making a stepped tower situation that would go around it. Can't make it too tall. I gotta make sure that you can actually walk on it. Cool. It looks like we got a lot of people for the writers team, which is fantastic. Super happy to hear that. And if you guys get a lot of like lore for this, there's nothing stopping us from like having in-game books or something show up into the game, where stuff that you wrote will actually be readable by a player. I love putting book systems in a game. Okay, so now that I've done this kind of curvy thing, let's go a little bit in over here. This is going to be a very scary tower to have to climb up. It'll be easy to fall off of, at least for part of it. Control G, and now I can just make a copy again. Oops, Control Alt drag. Okay, now I've made this copy. Bring this out a little bit. And then bring the copy up a little bit. You see what we're doing there? We have this way of kind of circling the tower. Let's turn off our rotation snapping. That through a little bit.
Mr. Torres?
Yeah. Yep.
Thing? What if we had like sort of floating rocks that sort of make a formation around it, so it's just this sort of big spiral ring around the tower?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so like oh my gosh. Okay, so instead of these solid things, the rocks are kind of like lifting up and slowly coming back down, but they form steps.
Yeah, they
I
form
see, he's got an
steps,
image.
and they're just like sort of spaced out from the tower.
I love that. I love everything that's floating and moving and alive and ancient. So absolutely, let's do that. I think what I'll do is I'll bring this part down towards the bottom so that there's these like normal grounded steps that spiral at the very bottom, maybe something like that. And then once you get around here, they turn into the spiral ones. Since it doesn't matter so much that they're yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's rotate this around a little bit. Because I want the entrance to be kind of right here, like. Yeah, we could definitely do that. So the player would come up here, out a little that way. Coming up, coming up. Yeah, let's just test that as a player, and then we can do the floating rock thing. We definitely need lights over here. Definitely need lights over here. Let's see if we have a skylight. If things are ever too dark in your level, odds are you don't have a skylight, which I don't, because your skylight is your ambient light. So let's pull up a skylight real quick. So any area that has shadows in it, it's still going to be lit a little bit. It's going to be lit by the skylight. So if I bring a skylight, you can see, yes, it's dark, but it's still seeable. Okay, and all those things that say preview, those will go away if I hit build, but I'm not gonna hit build right now because that takes a long time. And then this rock is a little too close to it, so it's kind of interrupting our flow. Take that back a little bit. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, I like the rock idea. Any other ideas? What else should we do with this citadel as I move these pieces into place? Ah, the sun right above the tower too. Neat. Alright, so I don't like that I have to jump every time, but that's not the worst, I guess. And then maybe at this point you have these floating rocks that take you up further and further and further. Okay.
Couldn't you change the hitbox so it's more of a ramp rather than a bunch of separate sort of things? Would that fix that problem of having the jump each time?
Yeah, actually it would. That's a good point. Let's convert the whole thing into a static mesh in that case. So here, let me just make sure it looks good too. And then we'll change the hitbox like you said. That's a really good idea. Yeah. So some of this is a little incorrect because, like here, it doesn't seem like it's like almost going down. So I'm gonna hit Shift G. I'm gonna ungroup them so I can move them one by one. I just want it to go up ever so slightly. And then we'll change the hitbox. It's hard to move these because the arrow called the pivot point is all the way down there. Or we'll just do this one actually. Yeah, that looks good. Well, okay, let's pivot. Let's convert that to a static mesh. So convert static mesh. We're gonna name it SM_spiral stair rock _01. Open that up. And you were talking about like changing the hitbox on this. So what we could do is if you do simple, actually simple collision. Actually, it removed the collision for us. So let's generate our own collision then. Add simplified collision. It tries to estimate it there, which isn't terrible. But what we'll do is let's sink this part down. It's just so you know, guys, the collision stuff is just what your player bumps into. It's invisible. And now we're going to do Michael's idea here, which is a good idea. That way you're not always jumping, because that's annoying for the player. We're going to do collision, add box collision. And now I'm going to take this box that I've just added, and I'm going to basically fit it so that it basically is like a ramp. Make that a lot smaller. And then we're going to angle it a little bit because you are going at an incline. So this is the invisible geometry that your player bumps into, essentially. We need to make that a little bit of a stronger incline and a bit shorter of a box. that could work. Okay. Alt drag, do it again. And this is going to make it so your player can just move smoothly up it. Now let's just turn it a little bit. Now we're going the other way. Because your player doesn't see it, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just don't want your player bumping into stuff that isn't there. Like even here, there's that little where it drops, so I might have to make it just a tad bigger. Bring it in that way. Rotate it again slightly. Almost done. And then we'll just do one more. And then this will be a completed piece, and then we can reuse this piece with this corrected ramp-like collision for everything else that's needed.
Is that supposed to be like a staircase?
Yep. Yep, exactly. Yep. All right, so it's going to now work like a staircase. So if I hit save, now we can get rid of all these things I had made originally in the level, and we can just drag out our pseudo staircase. And again, this is reusable. So you as a designer, or me as a designer, we can just reuse this mesh we've made several times. Okay. Leading throughout our level. So that would be an example there. Bring that down. All right, let's hit play and just see if we can walk up that as a ramp. Well, that didn't work. Did I not hit it right? Can I do it without jumping now? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it works. Just the start of the ramp was a little off. Cool. You see how it's a lot bigger though than you realize until you get up close to it. So we'll mess around with it. We didn't get a ton done in terms of actual Citadel development. I wish I had gotten done more. But we'll probably continue this on Friday. And I think by that point, I want the writer team to have met and come up with what it is what this tower is actually about, because it will help us design it to know what its story is. So I've got the emails for everyone's with the writers team. Awesome. Other than that, no assignments right now. I'll email you when there is one on Canvas. I'll see you Friday. Come back with ideas. Thanks for all the participation today. You guys did great. Take care.